Valuation of cyclical companies often misleads investors because they confuse the cycle with the company's true value. In the next 5 minutes, I'll show you a simple, repeatable method to value cyclical firms the right way. This method is drawn from Deheer and Kohler's work at McKinsey valuing cyclical companies. The core idea is simple: separate temporary swings from long-term franchise value, normalize earnings across the cycle, and make the terminal value and discounting decisions that reflect the company's durable economics, not the current upswing or downturn. Step 1: decompose the business picture to layers: the durable franchise, the long run margin, the reinvestment needs, the structural growth, and cyclical overlay, demand swings, commodity prices, and short term margin volatility. When you value a firm, don't let a peak or through decide the outcome. Value the franchise using long run assumptions and model the cycle separately. The way you can see how much of the current price comes from true business trends versus the temporary market conditions. Step 2: normalize earnings or cash flows. Instead, using the current EBITs or the last 12 months, compute through the cycle average, ideally one full cycle from boom to boost the recovery. For many industries, that means a multi-year average of operation profit or free cash flows. If historical cycles are short, noisy, build the three scenarios down base up and assign probabilities. The key is to avoid anchoring your multiple or terminal calculations to the outlier here. Normalizations, the reduce chance that one extreme year drive the whole valuations. Then step 3: forecast explicitly and set terminal assumptions conservatively. Put the cycle swings into the forecast years. Model the peaks and truths, but use normalized sustainable margins when you calculate terminal value. Terminal value should capture the long run steady state of the business, not a temporary boom. Also, don't use the discount rate to patch cyclical errors. The discount rate should reflect the company's systematic risk profile, not the short-term revenue swings. Then the step 4: scenario and sensitivity analysis, because cycle amplitude and length or uncertain produce bear, base, and bull valuations and show sensitivity to peak, margin, and cycle length. This tells whether the company value is robust or whether small chance in the cycle flip the valuations widely. Short example: imagine a steel producer with 300 USD million EBIT at peak and 50 USD million at true, but a cycle average of 140 USD million. If you value the company on the 300 USD million peak, you overpay on the 50 USD million. True, you're underpay. The normalized 140 USD million gives a valuation that reflects the company's sustainable earning power. Welcome. In 5 minutes, we'll map chapters 1 through 6 from the week 6 valuation notes and show how exactly the topics plug into the next so you can run valuations that actually work. There's a practical roadmap, foundations to applications. So let's begin from the chapter 1. Chapter 1 is the foundation. It covers the time value of money, present value, and perpetuity formulas, and the essential difference between cash flow and accounting profit. These are arithmetic rules every valuation uses. If you misunderstand what counts as a free cash flow or how to discount future amounts, the model will be wrong before you start. Think of chapter 1 as the calculator, and the rules for using it, like the TVM and PV, and the mechanics of converting future cash into the today's value. And the chapter 2 give you the framework, which valuation tools to use and when. The three broad approaches are intrinsic DCF, relative multiples, and contingent claim methods. The framework force choice based on context, going concern versus the liquidations, predictable cash flows versus optionality, buyer objective and horizon. Then pick the right tools first. The rest of the work is filling that tool with correct inputs. In the chapter 3, into relative valuations, market comparables and multiples. Use multiples when many comparable firms exist and you need market-based check. Key ratios include PE, EV per EBIT, and PBV, but you must adjust for the difference in growth, leverage, and one-offs. Relative are fast and market reflective, but that hide structural differences. Always reconcile multiples back to fundamentals before using them for decisive answers. And the chapter 4 handles the risk translator, CAPM and WACC. CAPM gives a cost equity from beta, the risk-free rate, and market premium. WACC blends after-tax cost of debt and cost equity using target capital structure. This chapter explains how to convert uncertain future cash flow into present value by using a discount rate that reflects systematic risk, not temporary cyclical noise. Get the discount rate right, your DCF will be meaningful. In the chapter 5 is the heavy lifting, forecasting free cash flow. Now when the free cash flow for firm versus free cash flow from equity, and follow the formula. Start with sales drivers, map margins, estimate required CapEx and margin capital, margin working capital, and derive free cash. The terminal value needs special care. Use normalized long-run margins rather than a single boom or bust year. Terminal assumptions often dominate value, so you need to make them defendable and anchored to sustainable economics. Then the last, in chapter 6, covers special cases and modern issue startup valuations methods, something like that, like VC approaches or scorecard and Berkus methods. Contingent claim, thinking for assets with options characteristics, and practical limits such as data quality and cognitive bias. The functions of this chapter is to provide alternative tools and sanity checks when standard DCF or multiples fail, from example with young firms, patents, or volatility commodity firms.